we got scroll lock on, which is the signal that our stream is actually starting. However, ooh, new featured items. There you go. Character slot expansion is, character slots are on sale again. Not much else that would interest me. This is gonna be an interesting chair, isn't it? Oh, that's a glider. What the fuck? And it's also a chair. Weird combo. Gliders are usually paired up with back pieces. I understand why this one is not, and it's rather paired up with a chair. I don't know. They did that a couple of times already, didn't they? Or at least like did some parity between chairs and chair skins and gliders. Let me just adjust the webcam real quick. We're still in sort of the pre stream phase. It's sort of a prelude. As you can see, we've got the portal. I figured we could move into the Wizard's Tower. Definitely get out of Lion's Arch, because we're gonna do a lot of standing around and just like idling on this stream. This is not your regular gameplay stream. I desperately wanted to stream again, Guild Wars 2 specifically, as soon as possible. Just to let people know I'm alive, I'm still around, and I'm planning to do this game. However, again, I complicated things for myself because I have a project, I have a thing that I can stream, and I complicated it massively by doing like a necessary prep phase. A prep phase I haven't really gotten around to doing for a lot of it. To explain what I've been doing lately is every time I explore a map, let's say, I don't know, and this is gonna be relevant. Not relevant, but let's say I would be exploring Dredge Hunt Cliffs, right? My legendary journey streams are typically we do a collection, or we do collection hunting in maps, and so I would pair it up with 100% completion of maps. So I would move into like Dredge Hunt Cliffs, and if it would happen that Dredge Hunt Cliffs overlapped with a map from Guild Wars 1, or Guild Wars ostensibly, right? That's what it's called. Then I would, what I started doing was I would capture footage from Guild Wars 1 and compare like what changed about the map in Guild Wars 2. So Dredge Hunt Cliffs is actually a fairly good example. I'll throw it up on screen. So this is what I've been sourcing it off, and most people can source it off. This is that Shaman's Historical Guide to Teteria, a very handy tool, and it shows you the overlap. So in Dredge Hunt Cliffs, we would mostly explore unimpeded. However, as soon as I would reach the Granite Citadel and these kinds of areas, for example, the entrance to the dungeon, I would like to compare it to the terrain that exists in Guild Wars, the original game. And obviously I need to capture the footage, and for that it takes a bit of a prep phase. It's not difficult a lot of the times, but as you can see right here, it's around Spearhead Peak, or in Gret's Footprint, for example, is the northern part of the map. So what realistically I have to do is go from the Deldrimor War Camp, fight my way through all the way north, because movement in Guild Wars 1 is not as easy as just running in a straight line. And if I want to have uninterrupted footage of the terrain, I need to kill everything around. So yeah, it takes a bit of a prep phase. So that's why I genuinely cannot continue the legendary journey as I envised it or envisioned it, because I don't have the footage yet for the maps that are supposed to come. So I can do Legendary Journey. That's one project. The second project, and what I've been doing in the past, is just play through story content, right? As they would release it, or ArenaNet would release it. However, I didn't do that with Secrets of the Obscure because I was not present in my home when they released it. So I was a week later to the party. And at that point, I was just like figuring, okay, let's play it on my own time, right? Without the hassle of streaming, without having to turn on the webcam and stuff. Because it does introduce some length to playing this content. So I'm stumped what to stream, right? So I decided we're gonna ostensibly call this the Legendary Journey, this episode, this stream. However, it's mostly gonna be my review of let's say Secrets of the Obscure more broadly, but particularly some aspects of it, and of the release, not only of the expansion itself, but of the release and the changes it brought, because there's been quite a few of things that came with Secrets of the Obscure that are not technically part of Secrets of the Obscure, and that's what I want to talk about today. I should find a fairly photogenic area where to present this, because I'm gonna do a lot of talking and not a lot of playing. In fact, I think I'm gonna do zero playing, and I'm just gonna give you the deets. As you can see, someone's bouncing the ball. In terms of Secrets of the Obscure, though, I would like to stream it in one way or another. I just haven't figured out how I will go about that. So yeah, whatever. Enjoy the scenery. It's gonna be largely unchanging for most of the stream. Anyway, I will pull up my notes, because I've made quite a few of them, and I want to go through them one by one. So yeah, Secrets of the Obscure. What do I think about it? So just a little bit of a context. I have been a player of this game since Guild Wars 1, not since its release. I think I came into the franchise somewhere around the time when they released factions, either released factions or factions has already been released. It's really hard to track down. I can probably track it down actually by the age of my character, but even that is not a reliable metric. The first character I've created I have since deleted from Guild Wars 1 account. Yeah, I've really been maining my second created character. And yeah, it was around the time of factions, basically. I doubt I had it when there were no expansions to the game, though I wouldn't put it past it, because the expansions for Guild Wars 1 came fairly shortly apart. Anyway, I've been playing this game for a long time. So when they released this expansion, of course, I've been through a lot. So I was wondering what they're going to do to wow me. And I must admit, they did quite a lot. I am overwhelmingly positive about Secrets of the Obscure. I think it's a brilliant expansion to this game. I think it adds a lot. Do I rank it among the top experiences in this game? Probably not. However, I think it's very competent for what it is, and that's the short form expansion. Of course, it's going to be hard for it to top the release of Path of Fire and Heart of Thorns. But I think it's kind of on par with even End of Dragons, perhaps surpassing it in some aspects. I'm definitely enjoying it a bit more. I gotta admit, maybe I'm biased because I've streamed in End of Dragons the entirety of my first experience with it, and that has not happened for Secrets of the Obscure. I've been able to play that on my own time, so I've been paying a bit more attention. I've been more invested. I've taken my time where I could. On the other hand, I rushed a little faster through content that I typically wouldn't. For example, every time I would stumble upon something to read, I wouldn't do that, right? For stream, I would read it aloud, but like this, I could enjoy it just reading it in my head, and potentially even not stopping a bit and going back to passages that I may have misunderstood and stuff, which I wouldn't necessarily do on stream. So either way, it's been a different experience. So there might be some a bit of a bias. However, I don't think that's the only thing that tinged my opinion. I think that it's also the fact that the story does seem to have some real depth to it. I think it's its connections to Guild Wars 1, but not only that, but the number of discoverable things that have some, let's say, meaningful lore to it. It doesn't feel tangential to the story, but it connects to it. So every time you find a lore book, it's about like a character and their journey through this, and it might be a familiar character, it might be Zoja, to be precise, but a lot of the times it's just different characters, but they talk about this kind of world building that ties directly to the story at present. It's not just flavor, it's genuinely like you get a sense of what is happening in this place, which is pretty much new to us, wildly new to us. It hasn't been in Guild Wars, around in Guild Wars 1, even though it's tied to it in very clever ways, to some extent. But yeah, I think the story is very deep and very well written. I think the characters are extremely interesting, most of them. I would definitely point out the main cast, the wizards of the court, but the side characters as well. But I find them very fascinating, and I'd like to learn more about them. The characters are not falling necessarily into the archetypes of the past, or they seem to be like they have their flaws and their pluses. They feel very human, even though most of them are not human, and even though they start like immediately in the spirit of cooperation, and in that sense, it's a little different than having to build our relationship with them and unite factions and stuff, which has been the status quo for most of the storytelling in Guild Wars 2. These start as old friends, and even that creates a bit of a conflict, but not necessarily a conflict that would tear them apart. They're very much united, all of them, but it still leaves space for interesting questions about their motivations and about their original place in the world and their new place in the world, because this is very much, for every one of them, it's a story of like being torn out of their previous society and into this new one, and how they found home and how they're adjusting. And Zoja is a prime example of that, of course. However, I do like that dynamic. Also like the build up of the story, and the way it motivates me to keep experiencing it, to keep playing. It genuinely felt like I want to know more. I want to know what happens next. I want to know more about this character. I especially wanted to know more about Isgaren. I was eager to meet finally Isgaren, this legend that has been previously legendary in the lore, but has been built up very well on his own. You may not have heard about Isgaren ever before. However, you will have heard that name a million times before you actually get to meet them, or him, to be specific. And it really feels like the main motivation behind the actions of our character is to get to Isgaren finally, and get to this big honcho. And I really like Isgaren's character as well, when we finally get to meet them, and in the context that we know about him, he doesn't disappoint. He's very much in line with everything we learn about him, of this like sort of egotistical character that is, concerned about asking for external help, because they feel like they can do everything, and they are very competent, and they have the best of humanity's interest in mind. However, their means, you get to question whether their means justify the ends, and it's very interesting in this sense. And yeah, to an extent, I feel like it might be something that the devs are playing with. I do wonder if they're gonna continue with this thought. It's something I actually liked about End of Dragons as well. That June, when we meet her, she's not a good guy per se, or rather, her organization is not a good faction through and through. They have their negatives, and June herself does too. There are they can very well be framed as not necessarily villains, but not really good people either. And it's the same here, mostly. But here the characters are a little more sympathetic, but they do have these darker sides to them. In terms of, and that's just the story, right? In terms of the gameplay, I think it's engaging. I think a lot of the stuff that they throw at us, with regards to masteries and stuff, and new ways to engage with this thing. I think it's interesting what they unlock with the sky scale and stuff. Somehow, I'm having fun with this, even if it's still the same old Guild Wars 2, and every time I get into combat, it's just something I'm super used to, something that doesn't really surprise me at all. That isn't helped by the fact that there are no elite specializations, no new specs. It's just weapon masteries that are unlocked to you, and I don't think that's enough for me to really engage with the game on a fundamentally different level. Even though I am an Ellie, and I'm currently a weaver. I'm not a weaver. What happened to my build? Oh yeah. but yeah, I have been playing on Weaver in a combination with Warhorn. Um, Many people say Warhorn is the best in slot for elementalists weapons, or at least the offhands. So I've been engaging with that. However, I've been playing Tempest for a long time, and I don't really think that it allows me to experience the game in any new meaningful capacity. That might be my personal thing, of course, because I am a very conservative player, and I do tend to play with what works for me. So I don't really switch up my build very much. All I did was just equip Warhorn, and I really didn't do any more adjustments to my favorite Weaver build, and that's how I've been playing. So that might be why the combat feels samey. On the one hand, I did play with the idea of playing through the expansion on a wildly different character, one that I'm not used to. However, you might notice of all the categories that you can usually explore in a map, originally being 5, there are only 3. And it's the first time an expansion does something like that. If you look at any Heart of Thorns map, they have 4 things to basically collect to map completion. The Crystal Desert, or Alona, has 5 again, the same as core maps. So it's the first time for an expansion map, and even like Living World maps, they tend to be on the 4 side. Bloodstone Fen is actually one of the few exceptions. Southside Cove only has 2 categories of things to pursue, but mostly it's 4. And it's 3 here because there are no hero challenges. And that's natural because you don't have new elite specs. Why would you spam the player with hero points that they're not going to use? However, I would use them on my alts that I don't have necessarily elite specs unlocked on. So I thought originally I thought I could level up a character that I want to elite specialize eventually. However, it makes no sense to do that because I don't get any hero challenges here, so I'd have to get them elsewhere anyway. But yeah, that's just something to think about, whether those extra hero challenges wouldn't benefit this map, but it's the aversion of ArenaNet to force you out of your comfort zone and perhaps play on a different character. They wouldn't do anything to encourage that. Hence this, right? It would make sense if they were so alt friendly that these hero challenges are here for you to explore. Perhaps you're a new person, you haven't had Guardian for very long, you haven't gone through the other expansions. Don't worry, you can train an elite spec in this new one. But again, it's just 2 maps, so that's the other side of the coin. There are negative aspects about the expansion itself, for me at the very least. And one of them, one thing that is quite unforgivable for me is the asset reuse. I think that's one of the low points of this expansion. Only if we it's enough to walk around this place and you'll see there are chalks around as like common enemies, and like why? It's the same model and they just rigged it up with a different skin, but all the enemies around here, I like that. I might show some variety here if I just quickly run out of the city. This will take me to Lion's Arch, doesn't it? Yeah. This will take me to Omnitas. Omnitas is very sort of spacey. I don't necessarily need the hassle of like flying around on my sky scale all the goddamn time. So yeah, I'm just gonna quickly jump into the fractal part of this expansion and show you what I mean with the asset reuse. But even here, the construct of Galdra, this very model, you could have seen already. It's been released with Siren's Landing, and truth be told, it hasn't been, you know, anywhere else. This type of enemy has genuinely been in a story instance and nowhere else. However, it's still an old asset, right? So it's hard not to think of Siren's Landing immediately, and of the crypt of Abaddon, or the secret whatever hiding place. But it just goes way beyond that, and it's actually a good thing that I came back to the Skywatch Archipelago, because this is full of not only NPC assets, which is probably the sore point for me, but also like terrain, and it's crazy. Everything is basically recycled here. Well, not everything. There's a lot of like good new terrain. In Amnitas, it's not that much of an issue. Here, you have like the Beacon of Ages, as they call it, which is a recreation of a tower in Guild Wars 1. However, all this terrain is basically like repurposed normal Guild Wars 2 terrain, and of course there are the mad elementals. This is because we're, you know, at a what's it called, Garenhof? Yeah, we're at the Garenhof fractal. That's not the issue. However, you travel further to different fractals, and I guess I'll use a waypoint, and you have an amalgam of like very well-known terrains. So you got like an Alona bit where you fight all the same things, and yeah, there it is. There's your first enemy. This one is actually kind of cool. I don't know what model it's rigged to, the Incarnation of Judgment. However, this is very much a sort of a human skeleton here, and even this one, the Avatar of Regret, it's an old model. Not necessarily the skin, but the model, the skeleton it's rigged to, is the Mouth of Zaitan, actually, and it's full of enemies like that, and it's hard for me to overlook. So the Cryptids are a particularly sore reminder of the asset reuse. As you can see, all the forged returned here, because this is like the Alona fractal, right? So part of it feels very samey to Guild Wars 2, and like not much changed, and it like, you know, the fractals do have a justification, but why do the cryptids look like general generic even enemies of Guild Wars 2? I don't understand that part, you know. You'll find cryptids that are straight up like what are some of the models that appear? Harpies, right? So you'll have like a harpy cryptis, and you'll have I don't know, like sand shark. Well, sand sharks are the celestial creatures, but again, in Omnitas as well, like the local flora, or sorry, fauna, actually fauna, uh, is just reused models that already exist elsewhere in the game, and I haven't found an explanation for that yet. Whether they like mirror creatures that exist in the larger Etheria, but if I'm gonna just quickly loop around to some parts of this map, I'll show you what I mean. So yeah, the Chucks already pointed out, but these Aether Hunters, right? They're sand sharks. They're sand sharks. It's so visibly sand sharks. Sky scales, they're at least like named sky scales, but they appear all over the place. And yeah, the cryptids are not better. And I don't think there's a single new model, guys. I don't think there's a single new skeleton that would be used for any of these enemies. And the same, unfortunately, goes for most of the NPCs. And I think, like, one of the most painful thing to find out was that Isgaren himself, being a very different race, and I guess I won't spoil what race he is, even though you find out very early on in the expansion, but he's supposed to be like a very different race. Oh well, I will actually spoil it because I've got a video prepared for you that I want to show you. But yeah, Isgaren, he's a seer, right? So seer is like a race that we've first encountered way back when in Guild Wars 1 Prophecies, the very first campaign that they released for this franchise. And they're supposed to be super alien, right? So you want to see what seers look like in Guild Wars 2, and you finally encounter one in the form of Isgaren. He's the only one we've encountered so far, and it's just a Jinn model. I mean, seriously, Isgaren is a Jinn, and it's very visible to me because I know how Jinns move, and it's a good match because of their like physiology. However, I couldn't stop thinking of like I'm following a Jinn around. I couldn't genuinely see a seer. And I don't think it would take much, even if you like take the same model, take the same skeleton. You don't have to do much to make Isgaren look alien and look different than Jinn. But because they reused even the animations, it just pulled me out of the illusion very, very quickly. And that's why I wanted to like show this thing as well. Oh yeah, Rolling Devils, for example. Of course, you got the Incarnation of Terror. This is just straight up a spider, as you can see. But yeah, like Rolling Devils are a type of cryptis and stuff. I don't actually remember where was. I think Isgaren's got a holo projection here around here somewhere. I don't remember where it was. But yeah, I just wanted to show you how quickly show you how disappointing it is. But yeah, I just encourage you to really pay attention to that when you're going through the story. Is look at just Isgaren's model and see if you can actually think something else than Jinn, right, when you see him. And you know, Jinn, they're not a super common enemy type either. However, I just could not see it. and I wanted to show you this video. I hope the content creator won't be mad. It seems to be like an aggregate channel to an extent. But this is our encounter with a seer in Guild Wars 1. And I just wanted to show you, just pay attention to the animations and see how very specifically...
Yes. You are the Ascended Ones the Dragon Glint has spoken of.
This type of creature moved. Of course, you're gonna notice the voice as well. That one is bonkers. I gotta admit, I'm glad Isgaren doesn't sound anything remotely like this. However, I don't think it would be hard to just take this kind of animation and put it onto the model of Isgaren. I think it would work perfectly well. So let me just play it out.
I've been expecting you.
Who are you?
I have traveled far and waited many long years to help you fulfill the Flame Seeker prophecies. What matters is that I am here to help you.
We're listening.
By now, you have realized that the Mossad cannot be defeated with the tools you now possess.
Undead here are
Yes.
ridiculous.
Go on.
For centuries,
But yeah, as you can see, like you can see it, right? The character, like it swings around, like sways back and forth, and it's a very rudimentary animation. Don't get me wrong. Guild Wars 1 had a lot of wacky animating work along those lines. Sorry. I hate Squid, even Urchik.
Urchik and Gladium have much cleaning up to do.
I'm gonna go back to the tower. Sorry. However, it's distracting for me. However, yeah. You can see like it's got a very specific way of moving about. You know, it's not specific to Seer. I can't unthink of like how dwarves moved in Guild Wars 1. They also had this idle animation where they were just constantly looking around, basically. And that's hard to justify. However, I think for the Seer it works. And I'm not saying Isgaren should do just this. However, I do find it like the crossed arms and one pair of arms crossed, the other one outstretched. I think it would do a lot for just like distinguishing Isgaren and his race. So that's one thing that's kind of disappointing for me about Secrets of the Obscure. The other thing is, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute, in a larger section. There's gonna be discussion of on one of the systems that they introduced, and that's relics. However, let me first greet Rekon. Ahoy, Rekone. Hi. He's asking in chat, just to translate for VOD purposes, whether it's possible that he's seen me in the street, I guess, in public. It's possible. I don't know. You're from Prague as well? It is possible. I've been to work. I haven't been at home all day. However, it would be a wild coincidence, wouldn't it? But yeah, it's possible. It's possible around Karlin and Zhishkov. That's pretty much where I've been. Nowhere else. But yeah, if you've been to those places... Oh my god, that's crazy. You've actually seen me in the street. Yeah, you have seen me in the street. Yeah. I actually work around there somewhere. Yeah. A small world, isn't it? A very small world. So Uh, I'm kind of happy you didn't come to say hi, because I would have been very, very weirded out. But then again, it would probably flatter me a little bit too. Yeah, I understand that. That's fine. It might be that you might meet me there a couple of times. Again, if you're in that part of town often. It would have been weird, yeah, and I probably wouldn't risk it either if I wasn't 100% sure, even if it was someone I thought I recognized very, very securely. So yeah, anyway, back to the discussion at hand. Let me just take a swing of drink. Also, I might turn off the desktop audio. So yeah, the relics, the relic system, and yeah, there's quite a bit I want to say about that. So it took me a while before I realized that the relics are meant to be the replacement that they. I haven't read a lot of materials about Secrets of the Obscure before it was released. Like I haven't read a lot of the press issues. Blog articles and stuff. But I have read enough to know that they wanted to unpair the extra effect on rune sets from the rune sets themselves, and give it in one way or another separately, right? So regardless of what rune set you use, you would still get like the benefit of the 6th rune, and you could just mix and match with the stats, right? So it gives you a little more freedom in terms of this rune set used to have a very cool effect but very trash stats. Therefore, it's hard to justify building up towards that effect. Just to have terrible stats just to have that effect, and vice versa, of course. So they wanted to unpair it, and it took me a while to understand that the relics I have received basically on every character in the form of these relic chests, that they're meant to supplant that they're basically like replacing it. Because the one thing I noticed, and I thought that this might be a later change because they're phasing the changes that they were talking about, they're introducing them slowly into the game or gradually, right? I was assuming they haven't changed the runes yet, because there are still 6 of them. And my initial thought was that their implementation is going to be wildly different, right? That they're going to do 5 runes, and then you would have like an extra slot in the armor, or rather one of the slots in the armor would then house the new separate rune, right? Whatever it would be, in this case the relic. But what they opted for instead was this accessory slot, basically, this relic slot, right? So the relic fits in here. But the confusing part for me is that I'm gonna answer that in a second, about the legendary status of the relics. So the 6 slots for runes stayed, right? And what ArenaNet has done is just introduce a straight up a new stat, right, to these rune combinations. From what I remember, if I'm not mistaken. So I just want to verify on Wiki. I have been verifying it before, but if we take a look at the superior rune of the Scholar, for example, the ever popular, the basically best in slot for DPS builds across the high-end or end game content. If we look at the history of this rune and we look at a pre-patch part, I know they actually didn't put an extra stat. This has always been the part of the rune, but still. Okay, well, this makes a lot more sense. This makes a bit more sense. So they just split this part, right? Increase strike damage by 5% while your health is above 90%. So it's not that much of a power creep as I thought it would be. I thought they straight up just introduced a new stat to it. But yeah, these effects used to be like 10% condition duration, the one I'm missing actually on the Superior Rune of the Nightmare. I do wonder about my then Superior Rune of the how that changed, because I do remember I specifically have this crest in this, which is underpowered, and it even points it out. This is a new thing in the game, by the way. The red text there that highlights that you don't have quite the optimal build. It can be quite annoying if you want to play around with it, like I do here, right? I used to have Crest of the Rabbit in the slot because I didn't care about the extra bonus from the Superior Rune of the Nightmare. However, if I compare it, I'm just curious. I thought that this was straight a straight nerf. I mean a straight power creep. But no. Okay, well that's weird. But that's my bad. Either way, even considering that, splitting these effects from the stats did mean some power creep went into the game. Of course, the fact that they unpaired the weapons from the elite specs also led to some power creeping. Yeah, I initially didn't really understand the implementation here. I understand it a bit more now. However, one thing that's quite difficult for me to understand is the soul binding of these relics. So, and this is a common thing for all of them. As Recon points out in chat, he's wondering whether there are legendary stats or legendary grade relics. No, there are not. All of them are exotic so far, but there's a caveat, and I'll get to that in a second. However, so far they're all exotic, and not only they're exotic, they're account bound on acquire mostly. Some of them can be bought on the trading post. The ones that are tied to the expansion, I believe, are actually account bound on acquire, and soul bound on use, which is a really weird move for ArenaNet to do, because for years now they've made basically all the gear so very friendly across characters, alt friendly basically, right? Even with exotics. Now exotics are typically the ones that soul bind. However, throughout the years, a lot of exotics have been filtered into the game that do not soul bind, and basically all the gear that they've been releasing on top of armor and weapons has had this quality of life of being account bound, and even on use it would remain account bound, so you could freely swap it. It wouldn't be as comfortable as in terms of legendary weapons and armor, that you would just pull it from like a panel. You'd still have to go through the bank, but the gear would remain account bound, so you could switch it between characters. However, with these relics you cannot do that, so whatever character you use it on, it stays on that character, which basically means that the relics are a consumable thing. Not technically, you can still put them into your character's bag and switch them from the bag. However, I don't think there's anyone who's gonna do that, especially with the number of relics that is in game right now. And that's weird. It's not weird in terms of like it shouldn't be that way, but it's weird in terms of ArenaNet hasn't done this in this way for a long time. Like for a long time, all the types of gear and bonuses and stuff like that has been basically very old friendly. So it's very weird for them to reintroduce this thing. You can still equip those relics. You cannot, for example, you wouldn't be able to get the relic of like Isgaran, the one I have here, or the relic of Peitha, or the relic of Unseen Invasion. These are very much tied to the expansion. You cannot basically get them, right? And you can see it here, right? It's account bound. I wouldn't be able to buy it on the trading post. If I'm gonna write up straight up Peitha, as you can see, this relic is not available to you. Basically, there's no way for you to get it. I assume once you had it in your inventory, you could probably equip it, but you just can't get it. But there are other relics, and again, the relics are meant to replace the runes and their core effects. If we look at just relic, you can see there's quite a few of them that you can still buy and freely equip. That's good. We should be able to find like the Scholar, right? But you can even find the Chronomancer, Dragon Hunter. I do kind of think that the thing they did with the new ones, they should have done with these. Like the Rune of the Chronomancer was released with Heart of Thorns. I think there should be the only way to get this should be somehow through playing the appropriate expansion. However, that's a minor nitpick, right? Still, I don't understand this soul binding, right? It just flies in the face of ArenaNet's philosophy as of late. However, and here's the caveat I mentioned, good tides are on the horizon because legendary relics are a thing that are supposed to come into the game sometime in the future. I do believe with the next release. So the next release, according to Wizards Vault, should be in a month. So in a month we should see legendary relics come into the game. Those one can only assume are going to be again account wide, equipable on anyone without the need to go into inventory or anything. That is kind of an answer. However, it feels like a very weird answer to the problem that ArenaNet's introduced, because now they're basically forcing you into crafting a legendary relic, while with the runes, I never had that feeling, because although my bank, we look into my bank is full of runes. I am quite comfortable with sacrificing this inventory space basically for these runes, because I know they're account bound, well, not even account bound. I can always sell them and I can always swap them among my characters, right? I cannot do that with relics, right? So unlike with runes, where I don't feel the need to craft legendary runes, because the alternative is that most of these runes are very cheap. They definitely don't come up in price in totality to the price of a legendary rune, and I can just sacrifice a couple of inventory spaces in my bank to be able to select from these runes. However, I cannot do the same with relics, right? Because once I soulbind them, they have to stay on my characters. So I'm kind of forced, if I want to use a lot of them and freely swap between them, I'm kind of forced into the legendary relic. So I don't know. I feel like with relics, there is a tier missing. I feel like there should be ascended relics as well. I think they would answer the massive gap. I think they would be the equivalent to runes. Perhaps even better for ArenaNet, because they would stay on the account, right? They would be account bound. However, they would still have the friendliness, the user friendliness of the runes. So it would be like, I don't want to say best of both worlds, but it would be a good compromise. However, so far, ArenaNet hasn't mentioned ascended tier relics, so we'll have to wait for the legendary relic. That means, those are my notes. That means, however, that we are going to go in the future for this relic as part of our legendary journey. So at least there's that. We're going to introduce that into our plans. Yeah, I actually do. You noticed that when I was mousing over it? They are PvP. It's a mix of PvP. There are some, I do believe, from World vs. World. A couple of pieces. Probably not the light ones. But yeah, I have heavy is fully PvE. I mean, pre Secrets of the Obscure, which you may not have registered, but Secrets of the Obscured released with legendary armor for PvE. Not strikes even, I believe. I don't know if you do need a strike component, but it's basically through open world. So yeah, so I have one raid armor set, that's the heavy one, and then my light and leather or medium, light and medium are a combination of PvP and World versus World legendaries. So either way, we're gonna go for a legendary relic as soon as it's available. Perhaps not as soon as it's available. We're not gonna get it, but we're gonna look into what goes into making that, and I'm gonna make that. ArenaNet kind of is kind of forcing my hand. Yeah, so speaking of which, we've got the Wizard's Vault, which is a category for its what's it called? For itself, basically. So the Wizard's Vault is gonna key into our legendary journey in a very major way. Now, I've been engaging with the system for a while now. I don't know how long it's been since Secrets of the Obscured has been released. I think it's about 5 weeks, right? So I've done quite a bit of daily, weeklies. I've basically been trying to max out on my Astral Claim. In every situation. The exception was, again, release week, because I haven't been in Prague and actually got delayed in my vacation destination. So I couldn't really finish the weekly then. Also because I had it mixed with PvP and World versus World. I didn't know what to expect of this system. I've been since wiser, but ever since the second week, I've been maxing out on Astral Acclaim. However, it was possible, actually. And I've noticed some weird stuff going on with this thing. Namely, and I'm just going to look in chat. Did you deleted your precursors? Right, because they might not even be ascended level, right? You can buy just the exotic, or am I remembering it incorrectly? Or it might be ascended level, but there's the cheaper variant, right? And then the more expensive. I don't quite remember how the precursors work, but right, yeah. Well, raiding it's not even, if you like, you can just finish a lot of the raids just once and be done with it, but it's very hard to go through all of them. I do understand that. Doesn't feel like the new PvE armor is very fun to do. It's basically a lot of rift hunting, which some people find enjoyable. I don't necessarily. I think it's annoying, especially when you don't have the masteries to do the tier 3 hunting in Amnitas specifically, because flying on a sky scale without the ley line mastery specifically is insane. Like the amount of times I would fly from one island to another and lose so much height, I wouldn't be able to regain it in any meaningful capacity. It was quite a few times. However, waypoints are frequent here, and once you get the lay of the land, it might be a bit less of a problem. But yeah, there's a lot of rift hunting involved, from what I understand. And for what it's worth, I might go for the open world PvE armor, just for the skins, because there are unique skins. I haven't seen them yet in action, but yeah, PvP and World vs. World don't have specific skins for the legendary tier itself. It's the same as the precursors, so it might be worthwhile to go for PvE armors just for that, even though I don't have a practical need for it, right? It can get very toxic, yeah. Unfortunately, raiding can get very toxic. However, with the right group, it's quite fun. I did find myself enjoying raids a lot, and actually going out of my way to pursue going into raids. You have to find the right people, and I've been doing a couple of training raids as well. Those are nothing but friendly. Those have been the nicest people ever in the training raids, the Crossroads Inn. However, not much progress is done there. I have encountered some toxic people who I've stuck around anyway, because I wasn't their target most of the times. I really didn't, perform that badly that they would be angry at me, but they perhaps were toxic to other people in our group, and while I didn't approve of that, I needed to get some of the raids done, so yeah. Either way, back to Wizard's Vault, I guess. So yeah, I've been playing with the Wizard's Vault and this system for quite a while now, and again, my main goal has basically been to max out on Astral Acclaim. I still don't like the system very much, and that's for one specific reason. However, Astral Acclaim is a limited resource, and I've been doing everything in my power to max it out, including the rushes. Oh, the rush has ended actually. There's been a world versus world rush that has just ended. Before that, it was the fractal rush. They both had 100 astral claims somewhere along the line. So I've been doing that. So I've been doing world versus world, even a game mode I play very minimally, just to get that 100 astral claim from that. I don't know what happens to astral claim from achievements if you overcap it, and that might have actually even happened to me. That I had, I was close to the cap with astral claim, because as you know, there's the cap of 1300, and it may have happened to me that I have dinged the achievement when I had a similar number here, 1230 or something. I don't know if my astral claim actually fell through from the latest rush. But there's a lot of unanswered question. I tried to Google it. Nobody seems to have a clear-cut answer on this, but there were some concerns. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened, that my astral claim just got vaporized. Of course, if you hit the limit here through this system itself, let's say I would do this special one, right now it wouldn't let me claim the chest until I spent some astral claim. But achievements are a little different category, right? They don't have this system where it stops you. So I don't know what happens to your astral claim. But there's been 2 achievements that had astral claim so far. ArenaNet hasn't put it into different places. What they've done though is expand this special category quite significantly. There's way more tasks than there were at the release of Secrets of the Obscure. So there's quite a lot to go for. So ArenaNet seems to be fine with like handing this out, even though they still have this system where they're very particular about how much maximum astral claim you can still gain. I've been mentioned, I'm sorry, looking into my notes so I don't forget anything I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I just wanted to mention some of the oddities. What happened once with this system is that the reset, basically there was an update, right, to the game, and I've played on Monday and on Tuesday on patch day before they rolled out the update. And I've been doing dailies, and I've done most of my weeklies, but not all of them. And what happened, they updated the game, and some of the daily tasks and some of the weekly tasks just straight up reset and could be done again. They were different things, but different tasks, but they could be repeated. So basically, looking forward, and I'm sure ArenaNet's going to change that system as well. But at least if you were playing around patch, you could actually get more astral claim than is the daily cap. If you already had the chest, this grand chest, basically, this meta chest, you can claim that one again. However, the individual tasks you could just repeat for some extra astral claim. So that was one weird thing, and I think it's a consequence that ArenaNet probably wasn't planning on. I think they're going to fix that in the future. What happened also when I did one of these specials, or pursued one of these specials, it was the Cosmic Observatory. I've done the strike. The special category, the task seemed like it's finished, but the chest was still locked, and I didn't get any astral claim for it. I didn't get progress in it. So that happened once. They fixed that since as well. So it was clearly an oversight. And what happened also once was that they put in a daily category that had most daily categories except for login. All daily categories have 10 astral claim connected to them. However, what happened once was that they rolled out a PvP daily task that had 25 astral claim. And it was funny to look at the discourse on Reddit because some people were like encouraging it, like saying, yeah, do this for PvP, please. It's a way to encourage people to engage with PvP. However, it was clearly an oversight as well. And sure enough, the same task in the future has been awarding 10 astral claim ever since. So yeah, a lot of bugs, a lot of weird stuff going on with this system. Just from my experience, right? I'm sure there are people who experienced other stuff. When I learned about the 25 astral claim, it was kind of an impulse into looking into what I can do as daily tasks, and it was kind of a reason to switch, but not really. But I was looking into one commentary specifically, and one Redditor actually nailed the nail on the head, or what's it? Hit the nail on the head? Is that the idiom? Anyway, I've read a comment from someone on Reddit who mentioned a very, very good point with this daily system, and that's if you do PvP, if you don't mind PvP, which if you don't, I mean, if you don't like toxic environments, I understand you wouldn't want to touch PvP with a 10-foot pole. But if you don't mind playing PvP, doing your dailies in PvP might be genuinely the best thing to do. Because while the PvE tasks have been laughable for the most part, and they've been way faster than what you can do in PvP, the one good advantage of PvP dailies is that as you're playing the PvP daily, you're automatically working towards your weekly progress. So I just want to highlight one thing, okay? I don't know if you have the PvE Wizard's Vault activated purely, but if you do, you'll be probably surprised to learn that basically my weekly progress, as you can see it, is based off a total of 2 PvP matches this week. Okay? So all this within 2 matches. And that's just 2 days of playing. So I've played yesterday, and I've dinged all daily categories, and I've played today a single match. I've dinged all daily categories, both in these matches. So it's very easy to do. The dailies, they don't even require you to win. The weeklies do, but they are very, very generous with how few times you can actually win throughout the week. So if you can put in the time as well, right, you know you can reliably play every day, it might be a very good idea to switch it to PvP only. That's what I've been doing for the most part. I've been doing some weeks of PvE, mostly when I was on vacation. I felt it would be a little better to not rely on hotel Wi-Fi to do PvP. However, for the most part, it's this has been actually my second week that I've been doing PvP, and it seems like it seems like the way to go. It might be less toxic to an extent. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, what I genuinely enjoy about this is that by doing the dailies, you automatically progress weeklies, which is not the case for PvE. PvE, a lot of the times, you will have tasks that don't overlap with dailies at all, and you have to go out of your way to finish them. And sometimes it will be a meta, and it might be a lengthy meta, and it will take quite a bit of time of your day. So while the dailies are easy, PvE dailies are piss easy for the most part, with the exception of like your spirit vestibules and whatnot, like your mini dungeons. They are very quick and way faster than PvP. Overall, on the weekly scale, PvP is faster. It's just faster, easier, and the only thing here is basically the tournament participation. Which again, though, if you can find a team where you can, with which you can stick, you might be able to bang out the 3 matches that it takes to go through a tournament, and those count towards your 10 structured player versus player matches progress. And also, if you're playing it in off hours, the tournaments have always been a very good source of like easy money, easy rewards. Of course, right now, if I enrolled in a tournament, that wouldn't be the case. However, it doesn't, again, want you to win. It just wants you to participate. And what I've heard, some people just straight up do one tournament match and then leave and don't even finish the tourney. So that's a way to go as well, I guess. I wouldn't recommend it. Once you're in there, I would recommend to stick with it. It's just 3 matches. However, it's a possibility. So yeah, I've been having it to PvP. Yeah, you can choose. And actually, that's something I want to touch on and perhaps criticize. So as you can notice here in the panel, there's this cog, the settings cog, and here you can choose which categories will show up. Now, it's not a strict do just PvE, do just PvP, do just world versus world. You can mix and match them. However, as you can see, changes will be reflected within the next refresh. So, yeah, it asks you once in the very start when you first like open this panel, and it doesn't ask you again, right? Or it doesn't highlight this at all. So you can do this. However, it does reset with, or change with resets. So if I were to change it to PvE today, what it would mean is that tomorrow's tasks, daily tasks, would be PvE. However, PvP would remain until the end of the week. So technically, what I could do now is switch it to PvP PvE just for tomorrow, and then switch it back to PvP again, and at the end of the week just ensure that I get the PvP weeklies and 1 daily, and then just do daily PvEs. I don't know why I would do that. Again, as I explained, working on PvP works. Your dailies work towards your weeklies, but yeah, you can change it. And I don't like this. I gotta admit, because this perfect system, this perfect setup where my dailies basically progress my weeklies, wouldn't work for mixing, right? If I had everything chosen, that wouldn't work quite as well, because I'll get inevitably like a weekly meta that I just have to go out of my way to finish. So basically, it's purity, right? You just pick one mode and you just do that for your dailies and weeklies, which is the primary reason for why I think that this system is further community dividing. I think people are going to stay with their preferred game mode and won't branch out. Even though you technically can, it creates troubles, right? Where you'll get a crazy world versus world weekly, like capture 10 towers or something. And you cannot reliably do that in a week unless you play world versus world religiously, right? So I think most people are going to stick with their preferred game type and won't ever touch a different one. I'm sort of cross-pollinating, but again, I'd like to do the odd PvE daily here and there, because there are genuinely sometimes categories that motivate me to go back to content that I still need for other achievements and stuff, right? So I appreciate it even when I did have the couple of weeks of PvE categories. I did appreciate that it forced me to go back to this meta and that meta, and well, it was mostly metas, but even like some, let's say, veteran slayer, right? Daily veteran slayer, kill 5 veterans. What I would do, I would go straight up to the desert, to Desert Highlands, and they wouldn't be the easiest veteran kills that you can find in the game, but I still don't have the giant slayer, right? So I'd go around Windshear Scarps, and I'd find the veteran giants there and just kill them and slowly progress giant slayer as well, and I'd still like to do that. However, because the system so far is this clunky, I cannot do that, because if I mix and match and I want to max out on my astral claim, I'm kind of obliged to do this, right? Because again, as I said, that's been mostly my goal, to max out on my astral claims yields, and even though I can technically leave out one category from the daily, it still doesn't feel like a choice. You know, because I'm still missing out on astral claim. Even if it's just 10, I still get the feeling I haven't maxed out on it. So yeah, technically, mix and matching game modes is possible. I don't think very many people are going to do that though, for the reasons I've just highlighted, and I think that's a bad system. So, and it's hard to avoid with the comparison to the older system, where all the categories were possible to do, and you know, as soon as you hit 3, you would get the meta chest, and it would be up to you if you went for the other ones, and it's a bit of a false comparison, because of course you could still get the rewards from the extra daily categories, which is something that ArenaNet is clearly trying to avoid with this system, right? With the caps and with the limit on astral acclaim that you can get daily, right? So they cannot give you more variety, because that would multiply on your astral acclaim gains. However, I do still think that there is a superior system, and that's genuinely put all the daily categories, all the weekly categories in this panel, have us scroll down through PvE until we reach PvPs, until we reach world versus world, give them all at once, and still have these numbers of astral claim. But you know, if I'm doing my daily, and instead of like the daily 5 tasks, I suddenly have, 13 tasks, right? I suddenly have 13 tasks because I have or not 13, sorry, it's 4 and 12 tasks, I have 12 tasks, 4 PvE, 4 PvP, for World versus World, and as soon as I do 5 of them, suddenly all the other ones lock up as well, and I cannot finish them, right? As soon as I hit the 5th, it doesn't matter in which game mode, as soon as I hit the 5th, I don't get any more astral claim. Because this is the only thing you can get from the task itself now. So I think that's a way superior system. The same goes for weekly. Have all these categories and have us choose what we go for in the week, and when we can make informed decisions when we actually see those tasks. Not that I, quite blindly switch it to PvE and don't even know what's gonna come tomorrow. I don't know what tasks are gonna rotate into rotation. So it's not bad. This system is not bad, but I still don't like it for this reason and this reason alone. I think if they changed it to what I'm proposing, I think it would be the superior system, and I think it would be the perfect system for these dailies and weeklies, and of course potentially special, but it would be much better than even the previous system. Right now it feels like even the previous system did have its benefits, and that's the choice, right? The choice aspect. Otherwise this system isn't bad, but it's not perfect. But it could be, very well could be, and what doesn't seem like a very hard implementation, and it seems very obvious based on the previous system. It's just something I'm constantly thinking about. Anyway, long rant over. As I mentioned, I'm just gonna take a quick drink.
Let's see the color of your coin.
So as I mentioned, I've been trying to max out on my astral claim. As you can see, quite a bit of the rewards have been sold out for me, even down here. So I started with the cosmetics. Basically everything that you can get as cosmetics I've bought already, and since I tried to stay under the cap, but just enough above 1,000, because we're gonna spend 1,000 today on this stream. I've been buying some other materials as well. I have a very clear answer for why you cannot have more than 1,300. I don't know if ArenaNet specified it quite as clearly, whether that's the official reason, but I'm pretty sure it is, and it's a very logical explanation. They don't want you to carry over astral claim into new seasons now, because the rewards are seasonal, right? So once the 34 days that you can see here on the special tab, once that's gone, it will basically roll into a new season of rewards, right? So the rewards that you can see here will cycle. You have 34 days to get these shoulder pads, to get this griffin skin, to get this bless emote, so on and so forth. Then they're going to recycle their stock, and they don't want you to carry the astral claim into the new season. They want you to carry a limited amount, right? So no more than 1,300, because what would some players, me included, I must admit, do is that I wouldn't buy a lot of the stuff that they have here. I would just hoard the astral claim forever, and as soon as they released the new cosmetics, I would just sell it out again, right? And naturally, they don't want you to do that. They want you to play the game regularly. not in bursts. So that's very, very likely the reason. Now, I don't want to freak you out with saying that you have 34 days to get these things. It's not necessarily true because, as you can see here, there's also the legacy rewards section, which is currently locked. But this is basically where all this stuff that you can see here will eventually move to. However, the plan is that once, for example, this enchanted owl griffin skin moves into the legacy rewards, it will stay there permanently, but for a higher price. It will cost a bit more of the astral claim to get this. I guess it cannot cost more than 1300 though. But yeah, that's the plan going forward. So yeah, because I had to buy stuff, I was buying stuff. It's frankly stuff I would have bought anyway, but not with the priority that I would buy it with. I think I would go for some of the ascended ones. I still haven't done a complete calculation on how much astral claims I can realistically get. Well, theoretically get and then realistically get. Again, as I said, they introduced astral claim in rushes, so that's been a bit of an extra boost, and the couple of oddities. But yeah, I've been trying to hover about the 1000 limit. Firstly, basically just below 1300. But what I actually want to get is this legendary weapon starter kit, which is legendary in its own right. Many players have been talking about it. This is basically the thing to go for if you're ever doing legendary weapons, because it has apparently insane value, and it doesn't really show very well what you're getting with this. Well, it does. You can preview the precursor, but it would feel like you're just getting the precursor. Oh no, my friend. The precursors are dirt cheap. They're trash. The first gen precursors have been what is it called? Chaos Gun. They've been very low on price for a long while. So as you can see, Chaos Gun is just 48 gold. That's nothing in today's economy. The same thing goes for Storm, I believe, is the precursor for Meteorologicus. Yeah, just around 40. That's not the case. Not the valuable thing. The valuable thing is, of course, the other stuff that's there, which is specified here. So apart from an account-bound precursor, and this is an important thing, there's also the Gift of Might and the Gift of Magic and a teamed legendary gift. So they basically give you like okay, I don't want to say half of a legendary, but they give you a lot towards your progress to any legendary that you're making. And you know, the selection is just these four. I'm sorry. Yeah, extraordinarily in real life. Good night. I wish you good night. I'm not gonna stream for much longer, so thanks for joining and for engaging. It's been a fruitful discussion, I think. So yeah, you're getting a lot of progress towards your legendary weapon. So this is why I'm basically categorizing my stream as part of my legendary journey, because this is a big step towards our legendary journey, a big boost, and a game changer to an extent. Because first of all, we've planned to do one of them. We already got Meteorologicus. We already got Bolt as a weapon. so we're not gonna go for them, especially because the precursors are account bound. We never had plans to make Bifrost because we already have a legendary weapon, legendary staff. So the no-brainer for us is Quip. Quip, which I have ostensibly planned and has been part of my collections. However, it's very low on my rung of priorities. Just for illustration, I'm gonna read you what we were going for and in which order. So we've already done Moot. I forgot to highlight it here, but yeah, the next thing we would go for would be the Axe, Astralaria. Then I believe we would. Oh, we already did the Longbow as well. It's not Gudzu anymore. It's Orine's Flight. So that's been changed. That kind of mixed up with the order there. Anyway, the next thing we would go for would be the Axe, Australaria. Then I wanted to finish the Torch. It was supposed to be Rodgord originally. It's not gonna be anymore. I think I'm gonna go for the Legendary Torch. Again, 3rd gen, Orine's one, but we'll see. Then we were meant to go for the Hammer, the Warhorn, the Rifle, and finally the Pistol. So the Pistol was actually the last weapon okay, and this is interesting. The Pistol was the last weapon that we were going for that wouldn't be duplicate, basically, or they wouldn't be main hand and offhand. That would be just like our first one. The exception is Incinerator. We've done that for other specific reasons, for the Twice Told Legend achievement and the title. However, the Pistol would be the last weapon where I would have just one of them. And then we would start with the other ones. However, the first pistol that I wanted to craft was Hope. Quip was only the second pistol. And then again, the order was supposed to be the sword, the second sword. We would make the second axe, the second mace, and the pistol would once again be the last one of these duplicates, and that would be Quip. So it's basically the last weapon on our list. However, it is on our list, so we are gonna go for the legendary weapon starter kit, even if just for the rest of the materials. But it's good that it's Quip, because, well, technically we don't have to do the collections. We will still finish the collection that we already have unlocked. However, doing precursor weapons through the collections is quite an expensive endeavor. This is much cheaper. Buying it off the trading post is cheaper. However, we've already got the achievement unlocked. Might as well finish the first one. The second one is actually the pricey part. That's always the money money drain. So let's buy it. Ooh, it's got this purple box. It made this cool sound, and yeah, this is gonna do quite the damage on our legendary journey, so to speak, because it's gonna change quite a lot and fast forward us significantly. Now I'm just gonna make some inventory space. I don't know why I feel the need to do that right away. I just noticed I have a lot of mess in here. Anyway, so the legendary weapon starter kit, let's double click it, choose the Quip then. Yes, I'm confirming that. And double click.
Valuable.
Ooh, buddy. So yeah, we're getting some progress in here. These are the new achievements. They are tracking your journey as well, or helping you craft this. They're weird. They're weird. We did get a bunch of skins also as we would craft the precursor. What? We would get all of these. But yeah, we got the precursor itself. Cannot sell it, which is fine. We're going to keep it and craft it into a legendary weapon eventually. But we got the Gift of Might, which we can use for a different legendary very easily. And the Gift of Quip, which is going to be used for Quip. What else could it be used for? But yeah, as you can see, there's the Gift of Wood. Not a super inexpensive item to craft, because it takes quite a bit of wood to craft this. Gift of Entertainment, that one is actually cheaper. But 100 icy runestones, just well, that's the straight up cash. So this just saved us 100 gold, and one superior sigil of stamina. That's nothing. But yeah, this is basically T6 materials, and this one is random. You can get either the Gift of Might or the Gift of Magic. I don't know which one comes up as more expensive, but it's nice to have regardless. And yeah, so not only this, and we've sold it out. You can only get one kit, obviously. I mean, naturally. But here's the thing. We've just done this and saved quite a bit of money on materials that we would have need to gotten eventually. So that progressed us way closer. However, with the way I've been hoarding materials and stuff, and the amount of money I have on my account already, I do have a feeling that we are very close to doing the legendaries, all of the ones that I have planned, and it's just basically the matter of the collections. So that's the biggest choke point. It's just finding the time for the collections, and you're gonna see that all on the legendary journey. I haven't done the math yet, but I have quite a bit of materials piled up, so we might see very frequent legendary weapon craftings on our streams. But that's not all. The Wizard's Vault, as I mentioned, is gonna cycle or rotate its rewards. We do wonder. The community wonders, is the legendary weapon starter kit gonna come back in 34 days with perhaps different legendary weapons in selection? If the answer is yes, it's basically game over, and I don't have to do the math. I think that pretty much puts us on the golden path towards our legendary journey ultimate goal. Again, they're going to introduce the relic. We're going to go for the relic. But that's basically going to be it. All that is left for us to do in our legendary journey, especially if we're going to stick to maxing out Astral Acclaim and buying the nice rewards that they afford us, for example, the Mystic Clovers and stuff. We're set. All we need to do is map exploration, precursor collections, and we're done. So hopefully I'm gonna get around to doing that very soon. So this is a bit of an announcement as well. I'm gonna stream it. I'm gonna stream the Legendary Journey. However, I don't know when I'm gonna get around to it. Because of my prep phase, because of the thing I mentioned at the very, very start of the stream, where I do want to capture some footage from Guild Wars 1 to showcase alongside Guild Wars 2. I don't know when we're going to be able to continue in the Legendary Journey. Bear with me. It's coming back. It's coming back in a grand style. As I said, I have the materials ready, basically, and I'm prepared to do very frequent craftings. But yeah, it takes prep time. Even just collecting the materials into what I need for the Legendary itself, just to toss it into the Mystic Forge right here, takes a bit of my time. And I'm a lazy, unorganized person, so it might take a while. What is going to happen in the meantime? Well, in the meantime, I'm going to play on my own. Guild Wars 2. I'm going to max out on Astral Claim and keep collecting these rewards. Try to get everything that can be sold out. My plan is to have this label everywhere where stock is not unlimited. With a couple of exceptions, transmutation charges, I don't really give us... I don't care much about. So we're not going to buy those. But basically everything else, or like the Black Line Mastery coffer, also completely useless to me. However, I do have a hierarchy, not a fixed one, but basically things I want to get. So we're going to try to sell out everything that possibly can be sold out and that we have remote interest in. And that's before this 34-day period. Then we're going to see what's going to come into the vault. Now, because the Legendary Journey might take a while before it comes back in any meaningful capacity, what can I stream with Guild Wars 2? Well, I'm going to do Doom streams. Those are not Guild Wars 2. But with this game, I would like to explore Secrets of the Obscure in some capacity. I'm still debating on how. But I think I'm going to do just a second playthrough with the story and give a bit of a context of a person that has already played it. Again, depends on my level of preparation ahead of time. It might be a bit more of a project than a bit more of a bigger project than I'm quite capable of producing because of my very laissez-faire approach. I'm in a bit of a between a rock and a hard place with this because I want my streams to have some quality to them, some added value beyond me just simply playing the video game and just staring into the screen. On the other hand, I am quite unable to provide that quality in a reliable schedule. So the question is what to compromise on, right? And yeah, I'm still debating that. But I would like to stream some of Secrets of the Obscure, and hopefully even before the month is over, right? So we'll see. I'll figure it out. But I think I'm gonna keep playing most of Secrets of the Obscure on my own without streaming it. Anyway, this has been quite a weird, bizarre episode. We haven't really done any gameplay here. I just wanted to stream, wanted to touch base, I wanted to let you know that I'm still planning on doing these Guild Wars 2 streams. It just depends on what they're gonna look like, right? Hopefully I'll hear from you soon. Next stream is probably gonna be Doom again, though, because again, that one doesn't need a lot of prep work. However, if we're meant to find all the secrets and get all the kills, it might start getting some prep. But yeah, the game tells me I've been playing for 3 hours, and I have been streaming for close to 2. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Thank you for stopping by if you did. Thank you for watching my VOD. If you don't know where to find my VODs, I am putting a link in chat. It's a clickable link. It's the YouTube link. The other one goes to my Patreon, where you can support me financially if you feel so inclined to. And yeah, I'm gonna see you around. Hopefully next time, exploring a map. Take care. Bye.